But for you guys that don't know, the NBA is a young league. There's only one player in the NBA right now who's 40, but that player, to me and CJ's knowledge, is probably the second or first best player of all time. It's LeBron James. There's nobody else to put there. I mean, what he's been able to do from age 36 to now is absolutely impossible. You probably won't see it again for your lifetime, not at his age.
It kind of, I talked to you about it, when I was looking at it before we started recording, and kind of like makes me realize how old certain guys are.
Right.
Like of course, like we know LeBron's 40, but you get to like the mid 20s, like oh dang, like I forgot he's only
Yeah, bro.
23, 24, whatever it may
Yeah,
be.
or even like I don't know why I thought Wemby was still 18.
Yeah, right.
Man, what's going on, everybody? We're back at it again with Three Man Weave. I'm the co-host ZD, and I'm with the main host CJ.
Yo,
We're doing
yo.
episode 20 today, right? It's
Episode
episode 20.
20. Yep.
Okay, for sure. And yeah, man, it's New Year's Day, man. So how you feeling, man? How was your New Year's?
It was good, bro. The gang came over. We had a little New Year's Eve get together, so that's always fun seeing everyone. Kind of starting the year off
Right.
right, Feel like when it's the New Year, everyone's like by midnight, we're all like giving each other hugs, like, "Hey, bro, Happy New Year. Hope you have a good year," type of thing. So it was super fun. Didn't get to watch as many games that I would have liked to yesterday. We were watching the college football playoffs. Boise State and Penn State, but I was still seeing the
Yeah, the
chatter,
highlights.
yeah, highlights of the games and what everyone was saying. What Ant said about Shea
Bro,
and
yesterday was another good day of basketball for
yeah, I was
sure.
about to say I saw that AR went crazy, and we'll get into that. And like I said, I keep up with it. I just may not have sat down and watched the whole game, but I saw the scores and I saw who went off, and
You're not gonna catch all 82, bro.
yeah,
You gotta you kind of it's kind of crazy to do that. I'm not gonna lie. I do want to get to that point where in our life where we're able to like, we have money circulating behind, so we can literally sit down for 2.5 hours and just watch, every game because that would be really nice. But obviously, life be lifing. But yeah, no, it was definitely a good day of basketball yesterday. I mean, for people that kind of haven't been watching so far, that this might be their first episode. Yeah, me and CJ are like, die hard. Obviously, CJ's a Thunder fan, but I'm a Lakers fan. So both of our squads played yesterday, and yeah, they both competed pretty well. The Lakers didn't win, but the Thunder got the W. Obviously, the Thunder are on that little winning streak right now, so it's going to be hard to beat them. But yeah, man, I'm excited to kind of chop it up with you. I think we got some really good content for today.
yep, exactly. What were some of your thoughts? Since I wasn't able to watch the
The
whole
Lakers,
game.
the Cavs.
Yeah,
All right, yeah. I mean, bro. I mean, so I think this. Okay, so 2 days ago was LeBron's birthday, if I'm not mistaken, and then Bron played yesterday in Cleveland, which was pretty cool.
that was
So we were
cool.
kind of celebrating that. Whenever the Lakers were celebrating that, this was also the first game for DFS. Um, so it was pretty cool. Like obviously, we talked about that a little bit at length, kind of last time on the pod, but just to kind of see how he's really going to fit in with the roster and kind of his strengths and weaknesses and how we'll be able to really work around those and use those to be able to like help our team out. Like I said, I think I said championship move. It's a championship move. Like this that trade's really going to help our team out in the future. But yeah, going into the game a little bit. I think this game was more about the Cavs than it is about the Lakers. I mean, I've talked about it a lot. If you guys can go back and watch it, but we just really are struggling with our defense, man, right now, even more than our shooting. Recently, we've kind of picked up the slack a little bit. We've been having been shooting like a little bit of a better percentage from three, but ultimately, like we cannot stop teams from scoring, and it's just because of the types of players that we have, like Austin Reeves is kind of a defensive liability, to be honest, and Max Christie, I think he can play defense, but it's more of an effort thing with him. He's not like a lockdown defender per se. You know what I'm saying? So I do
Yeah.
think that's DFS will help us in that area. But yeah, no, just watching the game, bro. First quarter was pretty smooth. I was watching it. We played with really good energy. We were playing pretty good defense. Donovan Mitchell was just kind of being Donovan Mitchell, and I said a couple minutes ago now, but just like the Cavaliers are so good, man. Like I do want to talk about the Lakers, but I just want to allude to the Cavs a little bit and just give them their credit because I really do think they're probably a top three team in the NBA just based off like their stats, but also like the way that their roster plays together. Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, those two guards against the Lakers, like we just can't guard those dudes. Not with Austin Reeves and Max Christie. So they were giving us fits inside, being able to like drive, kick, get assists, be playmakers as well as scorers. I think that's something that, Cleveland struggled with a couple years ago, but now Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell are kind of figuring out how they want to play off of each other. And they're also doing it a lot of off ball as well. I did notice when I was kind of watching throughout the game, a lot of their damage is actually done off the ball. So, for example, if Donovan scores, like Darius will initiate it. Like he's not always dribbling kind of the air out the ball. Like they'll have him run off down screens or something. And that was also another interesting thing too that I hadn't really noticed about watching the Cavaliers. But just seeing the way that they play off of Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland is pretty unstoppable. But man, Austin Reeves looked great last night. That's like my biggest thing that I had in my notes though going on to the Lakers. Just he looks like a complete player right now, and I brought it up to CJ a couple episodes back now, but kind of I asked him if he was a franchise player, if he thought that he was going to be an all-star one day. And honestly, I think if he can consistently play like this, obviously,
Yeah,
his career
100%.
trajectory will definitely change. Like there's really no other way to say it. If you're dropping 35 points on a really good defense, to be honest, in the Cavaliers, and then also just the things that he can do with the ball, being an initiator, but also just really seeing his scoring upgrade has been amazing for us. And then just watching LeBron, bro, still it's just it's magic to me, man. I think we'll talk about him a little later, but I mean he's the only 40-year-old player in NBA history to average, any number above 10 points. Like he's basically has every record for ages 37 to 40. He's already broken the minutes record, but just watching him still look so spry and young was pretty cool yesterday to see. Obviously, he was playing against the Cavs too. But yeah, I think Dorian Finney-Smith did not play well yesterday. Um, he didn't get a ton of shots. I was mainly looking at his defense, and he really didn't get a ton of opportunities to like show what he could do, just because the Cavs were doing a lot of horns action, which if you guys don't know is like kind of double screens at the top, and you kind of just got to switch off of that. It's not really something that you can stick to your man and try to fight over. Not with Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, those guys are going to kill you. But yeah, I mean Dorian Finney-Smith didn't look amazing. I mean, I did bring it up last time. I think it'll be hard to kind of for him to switch teams so quickly and so smoothly. Like it's still going to take a couple games for him to really, again, like get his feet under him and be comfortable within our offense and more importantly on defense. But yeah, those were like my three main takeaways. Just that the Cavs have been playing, amazingly well for the last, I mean, for the entire season, honestly, but especially the last month, kind of after their winning streak got messed up, and then Austin Reeves and Dorian Finney-Smith. Austin Reeves obviously with the scoring and just being able, like I said, being an initiator, being able to really control the tempo of the game, and then with DFS, man, just trying to see for next game and the couple more games after that, how comfortable he's really going to be within our offense. And obviously, him being a defensive specialist, we brought him here to play defense. So we're going to be looking for his 3-point shot. We talked about it last time on the episode. He does shoot about 40% from three, but we need the defense, bro, because we just haven't been able to guard really at all this year, unfortunately. And I think that's why we lost last night. It was a 12-point lead. It was a lot closer in the fourth quarter. So 12 points, I know it can be kind of a little bit misleading, but we did play them really closely. And I've talked to CJ about this at length on other episodes, but I am happy watching the Lakers compete against high quality teams. I would say the Cavs could go to the finals low key this year. So to see us really be able to like dig in our heels, not just let go of the rope, because the Lakers have issues with doing that. We like to give up really quickly. I was very impressed. I was impressed, even though we took a loss. I think we've been playing much better over the last couple games. And again, this game was a big question mark. I was excited to watch it and really see if we could beat again another quality team, but we just weren't able to pull out all the stops. But I'm excited, bro. I'm excited for where we're headed, and like I said, I think we're going to be a top 6 seed in the West. So the schedule has been kind of cupcake as well. This has probably been one of our hardest opponents in the last month, but ultimately we played very well. And like I said, we're just waiting on a couple more things to really, materialize, so that we can use them to be able to strengthen our team and really make a championship run, hopefully.
Got you. Well, this might be a little, little too early in the y'all's timeline, but is Austin Reeves? Do you think he's going to be a part of y'all's future?
Yeah, I think so, man. I think Rob Palinka and obviously JJ love him. You know, he's obviously a fan favorite as well. You know, for people that don't know, he played at Oklahoma. He wasn't really expected to be what he's turned into, but again, playing with LeBron James, you never know, right? But I think, yeah, I think so, and I think he should be. You know, ultimately having a guy like that on our roster who can not only score, but again, like I've been saying, can initiate and be able to get assists. He's had triple doubles this year. He had one against the Warriors, I want to say, in that game winner. So he does do more things than just score, and that's also another reason why I like AR is like he again he's a bit of a defensive liability, but he does other things on offense as opposed to just scoring. So yeah, I totally think that the Lakers will make him a part of. I mean, he's already a part of their future, to be honest.
Right.
I think if we were to trade him, it would kind of signal that we're going in a different direction.
Yeah, I guess that was more so my question. Like, do you think should y'all
I don't think
capitalize
we'll
on
trade him.
on his stock being so high right now? I guess.
Nah, because I think well yeah that's a good question. But to answer it, I don't think his stock is as high as it will be. It's kind of like selling Nvidia right now, right? Like why you can take profit, but just knowing what it could be in 2 to 3 years, it's like a lot more important to kind of hold those assets and just see what you can get from him because he's young too, man. He's still got plenty of years before he reaches his like peak prime. I
Right.
think he has like 2 or 3 more years.
Right. Got you. And I had my
Yeah,
other.
so that was kind of yeah,
I was gonna.
that was like my notes on the Cavs and Lakers game.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you a couple questions about this game, but my other question for you about the Lakers. Um, Obviously Dorian Finney-Smith, his first game playing. Expectations might not be that high, but like you said, you're looking for more the defensive side, and
Right, right.
but it's his first game, and
Like
like
I
you
knew
said,
he wasn't gonna shoot
right,
10
right.
times, right? Yeah.
What do you like? How far into the season would you say like it would take for
He'll
you
get
to
used to it.
yeah, or like until like you get to like let's say he doesn't perform for whatever forever amount of time, like
Like a month, yeah.
how long until is it like man I don't he might not
I
be
don't know if this was a good
right.
move. Probably in like February.
Okay, so if
It's a
he's
good
not,
question. Yeah, like All-Star break, I would say, because
yeah,
that's pretty telling. I feel like in 2 months, not just January, obviously, but February kind of. And I know All-Star break's a little earlier in February, but still, giving him enough time to really get acclimated and then being like, okay, now he's comfortable. What type of player is he on the Lakers? Because it takes time to get comfortable, but then you have to see what type of player they are when they're comfortable. So a good example I can give you is like the McCall Bridges situation. Like I don't think the Knicks were expecting him to be able to be doing this, averaging, 25 over the
yeah,
last 10 games or something like that. But it had to take time for him to get comfortable. And so now that he's comfortable, you're actually able to see his value. And I think that'll be similar to Dorian Finney Smith, obviously on a different tier because DFS doesn't dominate the ball or, shoot as many times as McCall does. But ultimately, yeah, bro, I think probably like after the All-Star break would be a good kind of indicator for what type of player and then like how DFS is going to help our team win. Not just the type of player he's going to be for our team, but how that can help us win.
got you. And my other question about this game, this one about the Cavs, they're 29-4 now. Best team in the league record wise. Have we
And we
been
posted about that on Three Man.
have we been underselling how good of a team they are? Like underrating them in a
I mean, I think
sense?
we were talking about them at length. I think for the first month of the year, and then after they lost their winning streak a little bit, it kind of cooled off, obviously in the media and everything. But nah, I actually, I think Kenny is exactly where he should be. He's right in, first, second place for Coach of the Year. Everybody's been talking about the Cavs like pretty much all year, so I feel like we're just waiting for the playoffs. Like we're just trying to be mindful that they haven't had a ton of playoff success without LeBron, and that's just the case. That's just the truth. So ultimately, you want to be, before you put that horse out of the stable, you want to make sure that it's ready to go. So,
Right.
no, I don't think we're underselling the Cavs, but we might be underestimating them a little bit. Like underselling is kind of like not talking about them enough, but
Yeah.
I think underestimating. I think there's definitely some teams that assume that we can beat the Cavs in a playoff series, but I think it'll be much harder this year. And I mean, Mobley. We didn't even talk about Mobley and Jared Allen, but
Yeah.
just Mobley's ascension, bro, and what he's turned into. I think ultimately is what allowed the Cavs to become the Cavs. I don't think if Mobley didn't have his transition into the because he's really the only player out of those four who was like struggling to find his role. I
Right.
think everybody else really fits, together pretty well. But
Yeah, yeah.
Jared Allen's not going to shoot threes and do all that stuff. But Evan Mobley figuring it out makes their team astronomically better, and I think people need to be talking about him more.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, yeah. I feel like because it's we've been saying that their record is the best in the league, but the Celtics are still the best team in the East. You know what I mean? Like we've been saying that all season. But I mean, I think that the conversation, like you said, it just kind of is going to be
Well,
based off of the playoffs, right?
I think the Cavs will be like take the Sixers and the healthy Celtics for example, bro. That's 7 games, man, most likely. So I think the Cavs also might be in a situation where they have to assess what how can we get to the finals from a realistic point of view, like because if you go through the gauntlet, bro, in the first 2 rounds, you got to play these teams. Like you will be tired, bro, if you have 7 games. So they're trying to get a great seed. That way they play the 8. They don't have to worry about, or sorry, the people who make the plan, right? They play that whoever makes it. But yeah, no, I think that other teams are underestimating them, but I think also the Cavs are trying to assess what it's going to be like in the playoffs so they can prepare their team for kind of how it's going to be going. They're also shooting like their shooting numbers are blazing. I don't know if that will continue. If it does, they'll be one of the best offenses of all time. But it's really hard. Like I think Okoro, help me out here. There's another dude, forgot his name, but there's Ty Jerome, there's Isaac Okoro, there's one more dude, Porter. I think
Max
Craig Porter Jr., Max Strus too.
Max Reese.
But those guys are all shooting like above 40% from three, and it's kind of hard to like continue that. I think Okoro and Craig Porter are like close to 50.
Yeah, yeah. No, they are. I think that's the thing about them this year is like you said, they just all know how to play as a unit together. They have obviously their two
Right.
bigs that are gonna lock the paint down essentially. They have the two guards that could pretty much drop 30 if they want to and create further bigs, and then they also have shooters all around them. So
Right.
yeah, no, bro, they're definitely I wouldn't say I was underestimating them, but they're record wise, like I feel like it's just like you gotta give them respect now at this point. I mean, they're 29-4 for a reason, regardless of
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple teams that give them trouble. Like the Hawks give them trouble. There's a couple bad matchups. I think the Thunder would give them trouble if they made. Like, I think there's a couple teams that I'm like,
yeah,
like we'll see, bro. But
right, right,
yeah, for right now, like you're talking about, because all we have is like up to this point. But I think that's kind of what you're talking about. Even what I'm saying right now is kind of what you just were talking about. Like I'm
right,
like, like
right.
I don't know,
I
because
don't
it's the
know.
cat.
It's the
Yeah, like
Cavs.
yeah, I'm like.
Like
But
this
I was
might
talking to Sai about it, bro. Like I was like, the Cavs are freaking good.
good,
And he's like, for real, bro. I'm like,
really
yes, bro.
good,
Like
bro.
they're really good, bro.
Yeah, that's what I
Like
was saying. This
like
might be the
top
best
three.
team that the Cavs have ever had that LeBron wasn't on.
I would have to agree. We'll see what TikTok has to say about it. I'm sure we'll clip it up, but
Right.
I would have to agree. I
Yeah.
mean, definitely best roster, most complete, best coach as well. No offense to JB Bickerstaff, wonderful dude, but I think Kenny's just done a different job, not better per se, because they don't have the playoff wins yet, but
Right.
um, definitely a different job, and it's kind of translating to the court.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I agree, man.
but
Shout out
yeah,
to the
man, I
Cavs.
I think did you get to watch the highlights of the Thunder and the Timberwolves game? Because I was watching that one too. I
Yeah.
had it on my multi view.
I just watched it like as I was like we started before I was catching up on it and just being able to see Shea kind of become. I mean, I said it last episode, but I think he's the MVP of the season so far in my eyes. Just being able to his scoring ability is what you know what I mean. It's just we
Yeah, I was
talk
gonna
about
say
it
they would have lost if he didn't score 40. Because I was
100%.
watching it in the first half. Bro, they were down. Like I think the Thunder were a little bit shell shocked to realize that the Timberwolves have life. Oh, that's what I put in my notes. The Timberwolves have life. I can tell when they're playing well. Like they're not gonna beat the Thunder and they're not gonna beat super high quality teams, but when they play well, it's still an issue. I think DiVincenzo and Ant were really giving the Thunder problems, in my opinion.
Mhm.
just because those guys can shoot from really far away, and the Thunder, give up a ton of threes, a ton. Um, but yeah, dude, Shea's ability to be able to take over a game, and then not to mention obviously iHeart and all the other role players that they had. I think Case and Wallace did a wonderful job trying to guard DiVincenzo and Ant, and he's also has the toughest assignment every night. So I try to watch anytime I get to watch the Thunder, I try to watch people other than Shea or other than J Dub, right?
Yeah.
I think talking a little bit about Case and Wallace, we did talk about him for a second last time, but bro, what he's been able to do this year from a defensive standpoint, this goes to show you don't have to be. Case and Wallace isn't shooting that great this year. I think he's shooting, don't quote me, sub 40% though.
Yeah,
You
let me
can look
check
that
it.
up,
Yeah,
but
I
don't
got you.
don't quote me. But sub 40. I mean, Case and Wallace is a
Uh,
40% 3-point shooter.
he's 41 from the field. 29 from three.
Yeah, 30. He's shooting 30. I think that's way like he's not a 30%,
No.
3-point shooter. But one thing that he does every single day that is just a non-negotiable, and this is why I love him, is he plays defense, bro. And I think that's what sets him apart from a lot of guys, just role players. It's like, okay, bro, when you're not scoring, like for example, what is Brandon Podziemski doing, or what are these other players doing that are within that similar age group? But Kaysen he be playing defense, bro.
Mhm.
I was really happy with the way that he was guarding. I think, the Thunder are just, I have it in my notes, but they're just a defensive powerhouse. When they decide to guard, I think there's at times, I did have it too. I wrote down that they look unengaged sometimes. I don't know if you agree, but I think it's just being young.
Young.
You're just not. There's times where I look like I kind of look like everybody's like looking at each other, bro. Like they'll be like, oh.
Like, hey, that's your
Oh,
man.
you know what I mean? Yeah, like
Yeah.
like it's just there's no urgency. But Dagnall is a really good coach as well, and he does a really good job about kind of reeling the troops back in and being able to like, okay, guys, we need to be doing better here. Like, and the Thunder can turn it on whenever they want. But I think I did want to talk about the Timberwolves a little bit. I think they have life, bro. I was gonna ask you. I mean, I know Ant's been very demonstrative, but also just very vocal about kind of his thoughts on their roster. And I know that, Alex Rodriguez, their GMs, like a couple other people that own the Timberwolves because they're one of the few teams that have that weird like
multiple,
ownership
yeah.
thing. But yeah, it's weird. But yeah, I know that their ownership has definitely probably been rubbed the wrong way a little bit by some of the comments that Ant has said, because I know he's definitely thrown not specific teammates under the bus, but the team. And I think again when I say they have life, I think this is a healthy loss. Like I was talking about with the Lakers, it's something where you're competing, you're playing the best that you can. The Thunder are better than the Wolves, so they should beat you, especially if they're playing at a high level, which Shea was. And again, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I think Shea. There's times the one thing that worries me about the Thunder is like if Shea doesn't put on the Superman cape, who will,
Right.
But
Yeah.
obviously he will, so it's not really a question. But I'm always kind of wondering, like, God forbid, if Shea wasn't here, man, if Shea gets hurt or something, like, what are the Thunder gonna do? But
Right.
Shea's been an Iron Man, bro. I think that's partly why his MVP case is so strong over the last 2 seasons. I think he's only missed less than 10 games.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's been something I've been asking myself as well. You know what I mean? Like, of course, like the fact that we even have a player Shea's caliber on our team right now is great, but who's gonna be the Robin
Right.
to the Batman? You know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
been the whole
exactly.
season.
Consistently.
And is J Dub able to step up? You know what I mean? Not saying that he
Right.
can't, and I'm not saying that he won't, but that's been my question as a Thunder fan this whole season. You know what I mean? Because a lot of teams are, but like we are a Shea injury away from not knowing what the season will be for us.
No, for sure. And I think that's always, same with the Lakers, but LeBron, AD, if they get hurt, our season's gone. And I think there is something to be said. I wanted to ask you this one question. Like, I like to think about teams in kind of 3 categories, and you can see if you can agree with these, but I like to think about them in star power, okay? Continuity, so cohesiveness, like how long has the team been together, and then, depth. Like, who do you have on your roster that, like you're talking about, if somebody goes down, they play, and they play well. The Thunder are kind of I think they have really top heavy star power. Their depth is great and their continuity is great. They have, all three things that are essential to make having like an NBA or a championship team.
Mm.
But like you're saying, bro, I think they do need to be cautious about Shea, bro, and they need to think about kind of how many minutes he's playing and everything. Like, it's just a lot because you don't want him to get hurt in the playoffs, just because he was out there giving you 30, 35 minutes a game, scoring fucking 35 points. Like, it's a lot. And the Thunder do have to kind of think about not coasting, but can they throw a couple games to get people rest? It wouldn't be the end of the world, especially like obviously later in the season. So we'll see, man. We'll see. But I did want to, the Timberwolves have life, bro. I think like they played really well yesterday. So I was happy about that because I didn't think I would get a close game. But the Thunder ended up kind of or Shea took over in the fourth and they kind of pulled it away. It was really the third actually because Shea hit like 3 threes in the third quarter, I think, and then in the fourth, the Timberwolves started coming back, and then he how he goes in at the end. It was kind of like
once
he took care of business.
Right. Yeah, kind of going back to what you're saying about if the Thunder should coast, like, would you not respect it, but would you look at like, would you be upset as a fan if because they are such a young team?
Yeah.
You know what
As
I
a
mean?
fan,
Like,
yeah, bro. Like that's a great question. I thought you meant like in general, like.
yeah,
But as a fan, bro, yeah, because I'm trying to see the best players every night, and I know what I'm saying is contradicting myself, but I'm trying to think about like if I were a GM,
right,
or a coach,
coach. Yeah.
like I'm not caring what the fans think, but for me personally, yes, of course, I want to see LeBron out there every day. I want to see Shea out there every day. I think the injuries just in general the last few seasons have been absolutely horrible, bro. They've been ruining the game. I think a lot of guys. I saw a stat that Keegan Murray just recently passed Zion in minutes played.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it kind of goes to show you, like you're saying, like the importance of just staying healthy, being on the court, and even with the 65 game rule, bro, we'll talk about it a little later in the season, but I don't know if that's working just because a lot of guys want to play more. I think it was never a question of like, oh, do these guys want to play? I think it was just taking into account playoffs and seeding and everything like that. Like it's very important that you give guys rest, especially guys who are high usage guys. But what do you think, man? You think the same thing?
Yeah, because I mean, of course, like I would want them to be able to get rest, but I think
Right.
we're such a young team. It's like, why not play them? Try to keep this one seed second year in a row. Like have it, may not be the easiest road to the conference finals or even finals, but like make it the easiest that you can in your control.
Yeah. Of course, of
So
course.
not saying that I'm not opposed to it because yeah, that is. I mean, that we see it with Luca. You know what I mean? And the Mavs, like
Yeah,
Luca
yeah.
plays pretty much as he can, like 35 minutes a game, and it's like, we've seen where that kind of has been leading him. He's been having injury problems for the past couple seasons. So, but they have no other choice. They kind of need him to be out there for them
Right.
to be successful. Obviously, Kyrie's been doing great,
I
but
think that's why he's been getting hurt more. Luca, for people who don't know, like Luca's been playing since 15, I think, Real
yeah,
Madrid, right?
mhm,
So from 15 to 25, he's already a decade. Like his knee, he even looks sometimes at times, bro. I know you've seen it too. He just looks gingerly. Like he
yeah,
doesn't look right. He looks like he's running slow. He's look like he's trying to preserve energy, and I get that because those guys have to go for another 8 years.
hmm
Realistically, it's like I watch Shea and I think about all the work that he's put in, and even just the Thunder as it from a team standpoint, like the way that their defensive rotations, the way all of their players can shoot, and if you can't shoot, you will learn how to shoot.
right,
Things like like things like that. It's just a part of like the team community and like your aura. I just feel like it's really important because it does help players kind of play through minor injuries or play harder because they believe in the system more. You
mhm.
watch the Wizards and it's like I love Koulibaly. I love Jordan Poole. We haven't talked about him at all on this podcast, but he's been awesome this year.
Pool party,
But
man.
yeah, but it's just unengaged. Like it's just, and people forget he won the finals, so he has a ring. He doesn't need to do anything else. So
No,
he's going out there, like you're saying, he's trying to have a pool party. He's living his best life. Like it's just hard to watch unengaged basketball. But yeah, man, I think the injury thing will be interesting to talk about a little as we get deeper into the season and how it impacts the awards and everything like that.
yeah, because I was about to
Yeah.
say if Obviously, I'm pretty sure we talked about it last pod, but Luka's been he's injured and he might not be able to make the qualify for awards and even All NBA teams. So this might be the
No,
first
yeah,
season of him not making.
I was gonna ask you a question. Do you think he will? I don't think he will, which is okay.
I don't think
It's
he will
okay.
either. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think he will. Like, I don't think he cares.
no.
Um, I think he'll still be an all-star. So we did a show about a month ago now. It was talking about the all-star. Like, I think he'll still make that team,
Hmm.
but I don't think he'll make All NBA, and he just won't have the game requirements and the awards. I think it's just not his year for that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's still probably gonna
Yeah,
average the best numbers in the league as a guard, though. It's
he's actually had a down year somehow for Luca, but I mean, it is what it is. I think, like you said, though, Shea's going to win MVP or Jokic. I don't think it's his year this year. But we'll talk about Luka, bro, in a second. I think in our next segment, bro, we can just say it right now, he's age 25. There's nobody else better than Luka Doncic. I think Ja and Jaren Jackson are the same age. They're both 25. Those are the only players in the NBA that are within the same stratosphere,
right.
that are 25-year-olds. So it really is Luka. It's been Luka for 5-6 years now. Like, you guys know that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes, sir.
shout out him. Yeah, but yeah, bro. I think we can kind of get into it. I think CJ was talking to me about it off camera, but he's talking about ESPN Plus. They put out an article. It's pretty cool. Kind of the best players from each age group, whether it's in the NBA or non NBA. And I kind of wanted to go through the list with you, man, and just chop it up like a second, kind of about the players on this list. Obviously, we don't have to spend 10 minutes per player.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously it'll be cool. It'll be a cool exercise for us to go through and give our viewers, mainly, because we know about VJ, about Cooper and AJ, like, about those guys, but just for our viewers who don't know some of the players that are next up, and kind of like the younger players too. But I was gonna start at the top of the list, man, and then work my way back, if that's
Okay.
cool with you.
Yeah, let's do it.
Um, Bet. But for you guys that don't know, the NBA is a young league. There's only one player in the NBA right now who's 40, but that player, to me and CJ's knowledge, is probably the second or first best player of all time. It's LeBron James. There's nobody else to put there. I mean, what he's been able to do from age 36 to now is absolutely impossible. You probably won't see it again for your lifetime, not at his age. Averaging 28 and 8 or something like that. I think Jokic, Doncic, Jalen Johnson, and LeBron.
Mm.
Those are the only players that average 25 and 5. So it's pretty massive deal. Also for him being age 40 and just for his longevity, there's really nobody else that even competes. And I know CJ understands that, but it was cool. Obviously, ESPN has to do I guess a player for each age, but I know when they got to the end of the list or the beginning of the list, whatever, like they were like, oh, LeBron
LeBron,
for sure.
easily.
Yeah, 100%. Next player is kind of interesting though. I don't know if people know, but CP3 is also 39 years old. This one was interesting to me just because there's not a ton of not a ton of older guys in the NBA. Me and CJ both know that it's a young man, it's a kid's game. You're not, I think Taj Gibson was the runner-up for this one. So as you guys can see, the skill gap, drops off very quickly with these older guys. But that's okay. I think CP3 deserves to make it on the list. I think we talked about it a couple episodes ago. He's second all time in assists, total assists, which is an absolute dream. I know that was definitely not something on his bingo card, probably most likely, but just what he's been able to do in terms of longevity, but also just his play on the court, bro. Even right now, him being able to help Wemby. If you guys haven't had an opportunity to watch the Spurs games, please do, bro, because he's a big part of their team, and he's one of the reasons why Wemby has been playing a lot better. And I think he'll actually finish his career in San Antonio, which is cool. He doesn't really have a reason to go anywhere else. I think Wemby actually can give him a chance to go to the finals if he wants to play till he's 40, 41, 42, and really try to see what Wemby develops into. Obviously, he won't be contributing at that high of a level at that age, but still, CP3 still in the league, still doing his best. So, I got to give it to him, man. What you think about that one? You like CP3 in that
Oh
spot?
yeah, of course, bro.
For sure.
He's the point god, man.
Yeah, and like you're saying, I know they got to the end of this list and there's just not a lot of players to choose from, but it makes it really easy when you have Hall of Famers.
Right.
First ballot as well.
Yep.
It's not really like a question, you know. But this next guy could potentially be a Hall of Famer, especially if he wins another championship ring. Won't be first ballot, but Al Horford, man.
Mm-hmm.
Age 38, bro. He's the ageless wonder. That's what we like to call him. Um, he's completely revitalized his game. If you guys don't remember, he was on the Hawks teams with Kyle Korver, Teague, Josh Smith. Legendary teams for sure. Those teams actually won a lot too. I want to say they were one of the first teams ever to have 4 All-Stars, right?
Yep. They
Please
sure
don't
were.
quote me on that.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
you're
please
right.
don't. Okay, cool. But point is Al Horford's been in the league, I think, for as long as I've been like following the NBA.
Yeah.
Like he's just, he's kind of like LeBron and CP3. He's just been there since I was a young boy, and he still plays today at a high level. Again, he shoots threes. He can guard pretty well for his age as well. He's not a complete defensive liability. That's why he plays for the Celtics and actually gets playing time. And then he can hit threes. He's changed the type of game that he plays. And I think that really speaks to the type of player that he is. And like I'm saying, there's a reason that he could potentially be a Hall of Famer. Not first ballot, but if you're winning finals and you're contributing at the level that he's contributed at for this long, yeah, you can go to the Hall of Fame. So definitely don't count out Al Horford. I don't know if you want to talk more about him. I feel like I explained his entire career, but he's been like literally a poster boy for how to have a good NBA career if you're not LeBron or a superstar like CP3, right?
Yeah.
He's not a superstar, but he's been in the league, like he is one, and he plays his role like a superstar, honestly.
Yeah.
So shout out Al Horford for sure.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, nah, pretty much what you said, bro. It kind of goes to show that like you don't have to be a superstar, or even a legend. I mean, he is a legend in his own
Right.
right, but
Yeah,
like
he's a legend, yeah, but
uh,
I know what you mean.
kind of like knowing your role in the NBA and just like sticking to it and being the best player that you can for your team.
Yeah, bro.
Is
I think
he's the
this player
epitome of
knows
that.
this next one too. He knows a lot about that. It's Mike Conley for age 37. Um, not again. We're at the older part of the NBA, so there's not a ton of guys that are 37 and above. I think when we get to 36 and 35, there's a little bit more of some competition for certain guys that are in the NBA. But these older tier, dinosaurs, you could call them, ageless wonders, bro. Mike Conley is definitely right up there. I think this year, however, has been a massive decline in what
Yeah,
he's been giving you. Yeah, like out of every single year, it's interesting that we're talking about it right now because he hasn't been that good. And I do think he will retire in the next few years. But what he's been giving you up until this point, bro, it's amazing. I think he was also one of the first NBA players to sign, what was it, $100 million contract? It was for the
oh
Grizzlies.
yeah, yeah, you're right.
If you remember, yeah, he was one of the first players to have a 3-digit contract. And he's just been playing the point guard at like the highest level possible for the last decade. I think me or CJ would not be disappointed if Mike Conley was our backup point guard, just because
Right.
what he can do on the floor for others mainly, but he can also he can shoot a little bit. He's got some offensive game, but
Hmm.
I just think he's a great facilitator, and obviously being the age that he is, for the contributions that he's making, I think it's been his career has been awesome. I mean, Mike Conley's literally a legend, bro,
Hmm.
for sure.
Yep.
I think like people forget how cold he used to be, man. I think we were talking about the Grizzlies the other day, but I like that we brought that up. Like Rudy Gay, bro, cold, man. Mike
Hmm.
Miller, cold. Like there's a lot of players that I feel like you might forget how good they really were.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can't put like a timetable on that. I feel like players that play that way when they're younger, they're always going to be able to play that way as long as they don't get hurt.
Right. Yeah.
So Mike Conley's kind of one of those players to me. But this next player, bro, I mean, hey man, he's definitely the best 36-year-old we have in the NBA. But
I was about to say the
you
runner
got,
up though.
I was gonna say, so this is where we start talking about some of the. I don't know everybody who's 36, but we know Curry's 36, so we'll talk about it. But it's Kevin Durant. We're at age 36. This is the age. We're starting to get into the ages where there are people to compete with. So we'll talk about kind of the runner-up. The runner-up was Stephen Curry to Kevin Durant. How do you feel about that? Before I talk about my opinion,
Um.
I would have put Curry above Durant. No slight to Durant. I just think I mean, okay, Steph is the best shooter ever. KD's the best scorer, so it's really up to you.
Yeah, it's like apples and oranges at this point. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're both great in their
What's
own
interesting to
ways.
see ESPN put Durant there, though. I like that, man. It means that they're showing love to him. I was a little when I saw that this morning. I was like, wow,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, because I mean, like accolades, I guess. I mean, Steph has more finals, right? But KD, I think they're probably. You think they were looking at it like their season right now, like how they're performing right now, and I think
Probably, and
KD,
their career,
yeah,
and
of
their career.
course, but like KD, of course, is like, I mean, he's having a better season than Curry at this point of time, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and the
yeah,
fact
yeah.
that
Of course.
he is able to score 30 a game, like you know,
Yeah, we've
it's you
talked
can't
about
really
it
compare it to
at length.
anybody.
He's like the only him and PG really, but like they're the only players that have came back from just a major injury and been better, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think Durant will all his resume is massive. We don't need to talk about Kevin Durant that much.
Yeah,
UT
we
alum,
know, yeah,
resume is massive. Just won the gold medal. He's been literally like when you look up prototype basketball player in the dictionary, KD is gonna pop up. You know,
mm,
like he can score from all three levels, shoots 90% from the free throw line, doesn't really have a flaw in his game besides sometimes his attitude. But other than that, bro, like Curry, I genuinely do think it's gonna be interesting to see when we clip this up, like what you guys think our audience thinks about that because I know Durant, like I've been watching Durant my whole life, but if you're also younger too, you got to remember like you probably would go with Curry over Durant, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think Curry's ultimately done the same level of changing the game that Kevin Durant has.
mm,
So, like CJ was saying, it's the apples to oranges comparison. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
mm-hmm.
Um, bro, this next player though, at age 35, there's a ton of 35-year-olds, but we're just gonna talk about the runner-up and then the finalists. But Jimmy Butler. It's Jimmy. So what do you think about that, man? At age 35, I think they should have given it to Harden,
Yeah,
including this year.
yep.
I think James Harden has been a lot better than Jimmy. But what are your thoughts on that before I talk about him?
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing, sir. I saw the runner up and saw Harden. I was like, I would probably put Harden over Jimmy, but
For sure.
I think it's
Even right
just
now,
yeah, right now. You know what I mean? I don't know. I
playoff
think
performances for Jimmy.
Jimmy for sure, but I think just stats wise and accolades and kind of what he has done for the game as well. Because I think people forget what James Harden and when he was in the Rockets, you know what I mean, like that he was changing the game and that kind of not paved the way
Yeah.
for Luka, but kind of showed that you can
Bro, he's
have
the
a
first heliocentric player that we've
right,
ever had.
right, exactly.
Truly.
So I think
Like an entire offense. Him and Westbrook, I think, were
mhm,
really the first two ever.
right, and they were both on the
Yeah.
same team. That's
I think,
crazy,
yeah, that is insane. I
crazy.
think when I had posted that story about like, don't ever, yeah, that picture of all three of them is just crazy. I know they'll all talk about that, but talking about Jimmy a little bit, I think his playoff performances have put him in a stratosphere that he sometimes doesn't belong in, but he is in just because we know what he can bring to the table.
Yeah,
I don't think James Harden, in my opinion, James Harden's just come up short in the playoffs. But I think James Harden will give you 60 in the bro. He had that game. Remember we watched it against the Celtics, bro. When he had that 40, he had like 50 almost in the playoffs
when he was with
because
Philly.
he was yeah when he was with Philly, bro. And I remember they won that game because of him. But those types of games for James Harden in the playoffs kind of remind me of like what he really is because that's really who he is, bro. And in my opinion, he's the best left-handed player ever. I just think they should have put him on the list, bro. I mean, I think it's disrespectful to have him as a runner-up, especially again with his like Jimmy Butler hasn't won an MVP, nor has he won a Finals. Like James Harden's won things, and
Yeah,
I just think even in this next player we'll talk about because I think that was 34,
35.
35. My bad. 34 is Damian Lillard.
Right.
And this player, there's a lot of 34-year-old players. The runner-up was Paul George.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with this though. I think Damian Lillard's definitely the best 34-year-old we have in the NBA. But the thing is about him that's so special is like he's just been doing the same shit for 10 years. No major injuries. He leads the Blazers in all-time scoring, obviously, and shooting. But then for him to be able to go to the Bucks and basically do, he's not 30 points a game, Lillard, but at his age, he's still giving you 25 a game on 40% from three and 47% from the field with I think he's averaging the most assists he's ever averaged, if I'm not mistaken. So there's also that as well. He's becoming a lot better of a playmaker. No slight to Paul George. Like I brought him up with Kevin Durant. He's also one of the only players to have a major injury, and his injury was way more major than anybody's I've ever seen. He completely shattered his leg in the Olympic game, and I thought he would never play again. I genuinely, I remember I watched it live. I think Curry and Kyrie, like everybody was like,
Yeah.
because you just don't play again from stuff like that. But for him to play again and play like this, dude, like I was watching PG on Christmas. We talked about it a little bit last time, dude. Like when I told you, I was like, yeah, the Sixers are healthy tonight, though.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
don't think they're
Yeah.
gonna have juice, you know? Like you don't think PG's like, yeah, I'm gonna get 20. Like
Yeah.
Maxi's like, yeah, I'm gonna get 20. Like for sure. Embiid's going for 30. So I think he's actually in a prime position right now to really overtake Lillard if he can get to a finals or if he can win with the Sixers.
Mm.
And we'll obviously kind of see, where Damian Lillard goes and kind of his trajectory, right? But just being able to just shout out PG a little bit because
Yeah.
I feel like PG doesn't get the love that he deserves, and that's really tough. But bro, our next player that was 34, 33 is Chris Middleton. I don't like this one at all. I feel like it's kind of, again, there's not a lot of 33-year-old players in the NBA. It gets really slim pickings very quickly. So I guess you can go with Chris if you want. But he just hasn't played many games. He's my boy. He's my boy's cousin. So shout out Chris for sure. He's definitely a good dude. And I met him once in Houston. He was respectful to me, and we were just chilling in the dorm with his cousin. I remember he pulled up, and it was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy because it was just like he pulled up on him like family because he is like no
Right.
security, no nothing. Yeah, it was kind of crazy, but great dude. But basketball wise, we don't have a ton to go off of in the last 2 years. So I was interested by this one. Did you want to talk more about it? Because he just hasn't really played that much.
Yeah. I mean, of course, we could talk about the runner-up. It was
NBA champion
McCollum.
though. He's an NBA champion.
Yeah, CJ McCollum was the runner-up. I mean, I would say probably talent-wise and kind of what he's done this year, I would probably say CJ, but
I was gonna say I'm glad you brought him up because I didn't even see the runner up. I glanced over it for a second on that one, but yeah, CJ's better than Chris Middleton.
yeah, I think so.
No slight. Like I think straight up, like you're saying, like straight up,
Mhm.
just for what CJ's been able to do. And again, he's been healthy, bro. I think CJ misses games, but not like how Chris does, And I think obviously with the dual ankle surgery back, he's gone through the washer, bro. I remember he had none of that stuff when I saw him in Houston. None of it.
Yeah, that was all.
Like
It's all
it's
been
just
within the past,
like
5 years, huh?
I think 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Literally, because it's 2025. I was in college in 2020. He was not hurt then. So it was like right before COVID. I remember seeing him, and I mean, I'm sure seeing him now, I can see even when he walks on the court. This is about Chris. Like you can see kind of the pain that he's gone through. He doesn't play as confident as he once did, just because he could get hurt. But yeah, CJ's awesome too, bro.
Yeah.
I didn't even see that. That's cool. This next player's been awesome though, bro. Like it's Kyrie Irving, bro. I think he's 32.
Yeah, 32.
Yeah, let me see the runner up for this one to make sure.
It was
But
Rudy.
oh, okay.
Gobert.
Bro, it's
I
Gila,
play it,
bro. I
yeah.
mean, I think Kyrie is becoming more and more appreciated the longer his career goes on. Because, he used to get hated on a lot a couple years back whenever he's with the Celtics and everything, stepping on the logo, doing all that weird stuff. But I think since there was questions about if he wanted to play, dude, he's been he's been amazing. I don't know, we talk about the Brunson, letting Brunson walk in that free agent summer when Kyrie came. I think if you ask Mark Cuban today, I think he would be okay. I just think Kyrie's pretty much given Luka like actual hope. Like I'm gonna be honest, I don't think if Kyrie was there, like they would have gone to the finals. And I think him being there has really helped all the younger guys because the Mavs are pretty young. I just think he's helped them kind of understand what it's like to actually be a winning team, and he definitely like has changed his career, bro. I remember kind of looking at him on the Celtics and being like, okay, this player is like kind of coming. I thought he was really coming to an end, honestly. I thought like what he was going to be doing in the NBA, but his years of service just keeps growing. I think he'll be here next year and he'll still average 25 next year on 50, 40, 90 at age 34, 35, whatever. So Kyrie seems like another one of those guys that could be playing for a while. And he seems like he doesn't want to leave Dallas either. Um, but yeah, the runner up, Rudy, bro, I think DPOYs have definitely helped him become a better player, and really focusing on the defensive aspect of basketball has kind of changed the perception of Rudy Gobert. If you guys don't remember, he was the one who uh like touched the mic, bro. If you guys don't remember, during COVID, like he kind of didn't take it seriously. I think that kind of hurt his like perception. Like people kind of thought that, okay, Rudy's just this dude who doesn't take shit serious. He's not really, I think that definitely impacted, you know, the criticism he gets on the court, which it really shouldn't. But just looking at it from a practical standpoint, I think they nailed this one on the head.
Yeah.
I feel like Kyrie's definitely, you know, a lot better of a player, but just more complete, right? Like he has the accolades, he has the skill level, and he's also doing it at this age. And I feel like Rudy's kind of on the decline. No offense to him, but Kyrie seems to be like just good. Did you have anything you wanted to say about that?
No, just kind of
Okay.
more so a testament to the greatness of Kyrie. Just
Yeah,
I feel like
Gila,
he's
bro.
gotten. I feel like he's gotten a lot better throughout his career. He's evolved, like you
Yeah,
said, and I think he gets a lot of flack for like not being like the best defender, but he could still defend at a high level when he
for
needs to.
sure. Yeah, that was age 32. 31's AD, my dog. Yeah, AD is the best 31-year-old we have in the NBA. I think he's one of the better two-way players we've had on this list as well.
Yeah,
I think that also helps him out, is like these next two players that we have coming up, obviously age 30, you guys know who it is, but both of these guys play defense at an all-time great level. Like not good, great. AD and Giannis both are absolutely defensive menaces, plus what they give you on offense. So I think that's kind of why these rankings are what they are for 31 and 30 respectively, is because Giannis and AD are in their prime. Like they still have 3 or 4 more years of doing this. And at this level, it's guaranteed first ballot, both of those guys. And, AD's an NBA champion. Giannis is an NBA champion. Giannis is a finals MVP, obviously. The resume kind of speaks for itself, bro. It's kind of hard to talk about first ballot Hall of Famers and you guys don't already know kind of the gist of like what's kind of going on. I feel
right.
like AD this year was an MVP candidate a little bit earlier in the season. I don't think he'll win it, if we're being honest, and that's okay. It's hard to keep up playing like an MVP level for months like
Yeah,
Shea be doing,
years.
yeah,
Yeah,
and Jokic, but he's definitely given us new life, I think, within the Lakers, and I'm excited to kind of see how our season goes and unfolds because of the way that he's been playing. You know, I don't. I'm not going to talk about it more than I need to. I think you guys understand how good AD is. But going into our next player, it's Giannis. I think
I was about to say the runner up
the runner-up.
for 31 was actually Norman Powell, who is having a resurgence of for his career
I didn't agree with that. I think they just put him on there because of this
because of
year,
this
which
year.
doesn't. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Like, look at AD's resume.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was on the 20. Like, he's
No,
like,
no, no. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have been up there, but like I feel like it's
no,
cool for
no. I'm
Norman
not
to
saying
be
you
a
are. I
runner
mean,
up.
like, yeah. I think the runner-ups weren't done as well as the first people were.
No, 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 no. Yeah, they
That
probably
makes
just like,
sense.
oh, who is 31? What are they
Right,
averaging this
exactly.
season? Type of deal.
That's
Yeah.
what. That's why. Yeah, like I'll bring it up for this next one because he's also a first ballot Hall of Famer. But like that's why I haven't been talking about the runner-ups a ton because some of them are kind of like, But I think the Curry one, But yeah, you're right, bro. Norman Powell is literally what averaging 20 points.
Yeah,
I
I think
think
he's
on
like,
like almost 50, 40, 90.
yeah, yeah. So just wanted to shout him out.
Oh, I hate the Clippers, but shout out Norm. Next player, bro. I mean, it's Giannis, but I kind of wanted to talk about the runner-up first. I think the runner-up to Giannis is Embiid because I was talking about Giannis a little bit earlier. But I think Joel Embiid would have passed Giannis if he could have stayed healthy over these last 3 seasons. I truly believe him averaging more points a minute than Will in, playing X amount of games. I think it could have put him in that echelon with Giannis. But since Giannis is a Finals MVP and also he's won the Finals, like there's really, you know, I think Giannis and Embiid are going to get put in that pairing for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll kind of see how that plays out. Obviously in both of their careers, but I would still have to give the edge to Giannis for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, just based on like what he's been able to contribute to his team, and I know both of them. It's interesting. Like they're actually one of the few players on this list who've like stayed with their team for the entirety of their career.
Mm-hmm.
That's also really hard to do if you guys don't know. Like not a lot of players will ever do that. I think there's only been like 3 or 4 so far on this list.
Mm.
Chris Middleton included. Obviously, Curry was a runner-up, but everybody else besides Embiid and Giannis have not stayed.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes to show you their longevity and what they're willing to endure. I think people, like for the viewers that don't know, obviously the Sixers were a part of the process, and that was like a big thing, and trying to make that work. Now they're trying to do something completely different, but yeah, did you have any thoughts on Embiid being a runner-up or not?
No, I was about to say you pretty much nailed it right on the head, bro.
Cool.
Just I feel like if he would have stayed healthy, he definitely would be in. I mean, he already was a runner-up, but it would definitely be a conversation like, oh, Giannis and B, like who do y'all think if he wouldn't have gotten injured? But
Yeah, bro. Do you know who age 29 is?
yes, sir.
Let's do some trivia. Oh, you did you see it just
Yeah,
now?
I see it.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you one. I'm gonna stump you with one of these, but guys, it's no debate who age 29 should be. It's Jokic. I mean, at the end of the day, this dude is pretty much he's breaking every statistical record that we have. And he's doing it at a level that we just have never seen before. This is, some of the runner-ups, especially like later, like whenever they're younger, I feel like they're pretty juicy.
Yeah.
But anybody competing with Nikola Jokic is an afterthought.
Yeah.
And that's, I think he will be the best of his age group for the rest of his career, most likely. So I don't, I want to see. I need to look at it. I'm scrolling down right now because I forgot. What was it? It was Cat for the runner-up. How do you feel about that? You think?
Yeah, not even.
Yeah,
No,
not even.
Don't even need to really talk about it. I mean,
Yeah,
Cat's
talk about
doing
it.
great,
So,
but
so as you guys can see with some of these for these age groups, it's pretty direct and honest. And I agree. I think the best 29-year-old in the NBA is Nikola Jokic without a doubt. He's been a model of consistency for the last 5 to 6 years, and he still is, continuing to outperform himself. Even with winning the MVP twice already, he's still having a better season than when he won both of those times. So, yeah, bro, it's pretty self-explanatory in my opinion. This next player, though, obviously, we're not going to talk about the runner-up and Cat because Cat's had a lovely, a great year, but he's never really going to pass Jokic in terms of like the type of player that he is, and that's okay. But this next player for age 28 is Jalen Brunson, bro. I like that a lot. The runner-up is Donovan Mitchell. Now, I will say, in my opinion, I think Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson are kind of interchangeable. I think Jalen Brunson's had some playoff success, same with Donovan Mitchell, but I think both of them elevate their games in the playoffs. They're both high risers. They're not afraid of the moment. And I think Brunson being on this list kind of goes to show you his ascension, bro, and kind of what he's been able to do for the Knicks roster, right? Like, I think he's changed the trajectory of that team whenever he showed up and really being in form and being an all-star and being the player that they need. And honestly, their captain, I think they've built a roster around him to help him try to compete for an NBA championship. And I think that's the ultimate goal. Obviously, knowing with all the trades that they made this season and kind of how much they've put on the table, right? Because they're kind of going all in. And he even took a pay cut this year, if you guys don't remember, to be able to like have that roster and have those pieces around him. So he's definitely a team guy. And I was going to ask your thoughts on kind of what you thought about Donovan Mitchell being a runner-up and if you thought, those should be switched.
Like you said, they're pretty interchangeable in my eyes because there is moments where I'm like, man, this man Donovan Mitchell is the best player on the Cavs in the East, you know what I mean? And then Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, and the Cavs are better than the Knicks for sure.
Yeah. And then Jalen Brunson drops 44 one game. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what he does. So yeah, either one, I'm not mad at one. If you had them flipped.
Yeah,
And,
if you were to like interchange them.
right,
Yeah, I think they're like a similar archetype of player, and they just have a different like you know, one's a righty, one's a lefty,
right.
pretty much. But they're like pretty much the same
Yeah,
player.
one's like jumping over you, the other one's like killing you
Yeah,
in
yeah.
mid
I guess
range.
the athleticism. Yeah, Donovan Mitchell can't dunk on you for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Jalen Brunson, he ain't gonna do any of that. But yeah, no. This next player, hey, age 27, bro. I think he's kind of reached a peak in his career where if he doesn't get a 3-point shot, I don't know how much further he can go. But it's Bam, bro. I think Bam is probably the best 27-year-old we have in the NBA right now. He's been in the league for a little while, huh? Like you
yes,
would think
bro.
like Bam just came into the league 5 years ago, bro. But it's been a little while, so it's good to see him on this list. I just forgot the runner-up. Do you have it?
It's Fox. I think I would
Yes,
probably put
yes, yes. De'Aaron
Fox. I'm not
Fox.
gonna lie.
So I was gonna talk about that. I was like, oh, I'm going through this in my head. It's
No, you're
tough,
good.
but so De'Aaron Fox, I think should be the person on the list.
Same.
And again, Bam defensively is a lot better, but I think De'Aaron Fox from like which player would you rather have on your roster if you were starting a roster? Most people are picking De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I think Bam's defense definitely gives him a leg up in terms of, how he is as a player, but I think De'Aaron Fox, what he can give you on defense with his steals and then plus his offense, it's too consistent to not take that. And I think ESPN is not showing love to De'Aaron Fox because the Kings haven't been that good.
Mm-hmm.
And the Heat just recently, obviously over the last couple of years, they've been to a finals, they've made playoff runs. It's not the same as being on the Sacramento Kings in terms of media availability. But yeah, I think these two should be switched, bro. I did not I think Bam being there says a lot about the type of player that he is right now, but I also think Fox deserved a little bit more love.
Right. Yeah, no, and I think like you said, Bam, if he doesn't get a 3-point shot, a consistent 3-point shot, then that he's kind of at his peak. I feel like De'Aaron Fox could still get a lot better. On like the defensive side,
Exactly.
like his offensive game is really polished now. His 3-point shot has always been there, but he's actually hitting him this year. So it's like I feel like he's like I wouldn't say at the peak, but he's like you said, like almost there. He's not like
he's
the
rising,
apex.
yeah, bro. He's rising, yeah. Like with Bam, it's like he is who he is,
Right.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. But kind of, I wanted to see if you wanted to talk about, age 26, bro.
Yeah, bro. I'm
Go
looking
ahead.
at it. Yeah, so age 26, they have Shea Gilgeous Alexander, and kind of looking at who else is on here. I don't know, cause like I mean, obviously, like I'm always gonna root for my home team, and he's on my team, so it's like I gotta root for him. But the person
You're not gonna go against him,
right? But the person they had was Jason Tatum, and he's also
Tatum.
26, and
for sure.
I mean, he's been having a great year. He's obviously had a great career up to this point. So it's like, I could see probably ESPN, not like hopping on the bandwagon per se, but Shea has been putting up the numbers.
Dude, it's crazy you're bringing this. They are so. I love Disney. We love ESPN. Shout out the people at ESPN, but they are like that, dude.
They are. They just kind of go with like what's going on right now, like
what's popping.
Yeah.
Right.
But like, hey, I'm not against it, but I think Tatum probably deserves it though. I'm not gonna lie. Like Shea's been going crazy, MVP player this year, but I mean, you can't really take away what Tatum has done and what he still is doing right now.
Right. Fair enough. I think they're interchangeable. I think whatever one, you can make an argument for either one. In my opinion, I'm rocking with Shea because I believe in the future of Shea. And, Tatum, no offense to JT, but he's kind of also at his peak. Like, I don't really see how much better he can get. There's not really a clear path. Whereas Shea, again, hasn't won the finals, hasn't done a couple, like there's still things that he can do to improve. Mm-hmm. Whereas JT, again, he just won the finals. He's a gold medal. Like he's getting to the part of his career where he's now just focused on winning not really focused on like improving. Like he's been doing that for the last, 8 years or whatever. So, it's definitely interchangeable. I think you can go with whatever one suits you.
Right. Right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. Because either one, they're
Okay.
both great players.
Cool. Cool. This next player we won't talk about too much. It's Luca. Kind of talked about it a little bit in the last segment. Um, I mean, he's okay. He's younger than Shea. So for you
Yeah.
guys who don't know, like, bro, like he's still younger than Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Um, what he's been able to do for the last 6 seasons has been absolutely amazing. I don't know if we have a player in the NBA that will ever replicate what he's been able to do. Aside from Jokic, a lot of the Europeans just play a certain style of basketball that can't be replicated. Honestly, but yeah, there's really no reason to talk about anybody else in this age division. Because moving down the list, there's players that are like I thought were the same age as Luca, so they could have been the runner-up, but it's just not the case. They're either a year older or a year younger or a year older.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, Luca's. I think we talked about him a decent amount on this show, but I just think this season's been tough, obviously, because he's been hurt, so he hasn't been able to really show what he can do. And I think next season we'll see if he'll win MVP.
Right. Hopefully.
But yeah, this next player, bro, is age 24. I mean, the runner-up was John Morant. I talked about it a little, again on the last segment. There's just really he's not in the same stratosphere as Luca.
No.
But this next one, for age 24, it's Tyrese Halliburton, bro. What do you think about this, bro? I wanted to see your thoughts on this.
I mean, you kind of know how I feel about Tyrese. I mean, I don't hate on
Yeah,
him, but I definitely
no,
think
for sure.
his ascension to where he's at right now was probably wasn't expected from a lot of people. But not taking away from how great he has been up to this point, but I think the runner up is a lot better player in my eyes, Tyrese Maxey, uh, just because I don't know,
Talk about him.
he hasn't really been scoring the ball as well as he was really the first half of the season last year. And I think if he's not doing that, it's kind of, how are you, you know, gonna
Yeah, it's a
help the team?
one-sided coin, right? Yeah,
Right.
it's not like yeah. I think Maxi, yeah, bro. I truly, again, they're kind of going off. It's interesting. ESPN will go off hype, but then with this, right? They kind of they do the opposite. But
Yeah.
I think Tyrese Maxey has the chance to be better than Tyrese Halliburton. Not today, but at some point in his career. So I feel like these guys will get put in the similar groups, especially as they continue to kind of ascend into what they're gonna be. Because we're starting to get into the part of the list where like they're still working on their game. They're still young men,
Mm-hmm.
so they're still trying to figure out how the NBA works, like what they their routine, everything, bro. It's not as black and white as people think, but I feel like for this next player, there's really no discussions, right? Again, I mean, who else is the runner-up
Uh,
on Ants?
Evan Mobley,
Mobley. Yeah, I forgot. It was
Lamelo.
Mobley. Yeah,
I
Lamelo.
actually
Oh,
there
okay.
actually Lamelo, Scotty, Franz.
There's a lot.
There's a
There's a
decent
lot. I was going,
amount.
but are they better than Ant?
No, but
That's the thing. Like
they're
we can talk about
I
them,
felt like
of course.
Evan Mobley is probably the closest one, just because of like the success of his team and how he's kind of evolving as a player. But Ant, as just like an individual, is probably a lot better than a lot of those players. I mean,
Fair
Lamelo,
enough,
Lamelo is also great. I mean, but I mean, with him, it's just the health, right?
Lamelo. I think his since his rookie season, he's been scoring like 30% more points than he did when he was a rookie.
Right.
So it's a lot, bro. Like it's yeah, this one probably was not easy for them, as easy as other categories, but still pretty easy. I mean,
Yeah, I
Ant's
was about to say,
definitely the best at it.
I think it is. You know how we were just talking about like they like to follow the hype. I feel like with that
Right,
one, they were like, "Oh yeah, no brainer, Anthony Edwards." Like,
for sure,
you know,
for sure. Okay, yeah, no, I just wanted to see because obviously Ant has been a franchise player since he came to the T Wolves. Honestly, was probably if he didn't go there, they wouldn't have a future. At this point, they're all in on Anthony Edwards, and for good reason. He's just uber athletic, can play defense very well, and honestly, what surprised me most, bro, this year is like how he's been shooting. I
mm,
think his threes are really, really an issue. But kind of moving on to age 22, man, it's Paolo Banchero, bro. This one, honestly. I think Paolo, he is the best 22-year-old in the NBA, and we saw that earlier this year. I think, in
Mm-hmm.
my opinion, if he was able to stay healthy throughout the season, we would be kind of looking at him as a potential All NBA candidate,
Yep.
um, which is kind of crazy to say at his age. But what he's been able to already accomplish, just him winning Rookie of the Year, obviously, like helping the Magic turn into a quality team. Because I would say now, it's not 2 years in the past. Like we're living in the now. The Magic are good, bro. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like they're a team that has a future to work towards, and they have pieces right now that are again way better than the rest of the league. I think, like you said, you were alluding to Franz a little bit, like a couple minutes ago, but Paolo is just already. They said like Paolo was already developed when he came out of Duke, but I think for him it was just trying to get used to the NBA. And this year he looked really used to it, bro. Like more than he ever has. And it's definitely a shame that he got hurt because he definitely probably would have been a first time All Star this year. You know what I'm saying? Did you
Yeah.
have anything you wanted to say about Paolo before I
Uh,
talk about Holmgren?
no. No, yeah, just I think he is. Even if Chet was healthy, I still think he probably would be the best player at 22.
Okay.
Just
Really? That's the question I was gonna ask you.
yeah,
Cool.
just because I think just his game, you know what I mean? It's obviously a little
Fair.
different compared to Chet.
I think Chet can shoot better though and
Yeah.
defend better,
Yeah,
but
I think
I don't know.
Paolo is like the offense for the Magic though. And Chet is more so a great
Yeah, Chet
player.
doesn't carry his own team. Yeah.
He's the piece to win, which I think he probably is, a better fit obviously for us than Paolo, but like Paolo as a player, he's like we're building a team around him, and like
Right, right.
what can we do to cater to the way he plays so we can be successful, And I think like you said, they're both great players, but I think he's definitely a better player at their age right now.
Fair enough. I'm interested to see what you think about age 21. It's Dyson Daniels, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
Bro, what do
he's
you what do you think about that? I think that's also kind of a hyped one, but I also like that too as well. I think he really does have a prosperous future, and I don't know what the Pelicans were doing.
yeah. I think the Pelicans are just one of the most unlucky franchises, honestly.
Yeah, for
Like
sure. They are very unlucky.
injuries, just players that end up panning out on a different team, But I think Dyson Daniels deserves this. Like yeah, it might be a lot of hype, but I mean you can't deny his what he's been doing on the field on the court.
I would also be shocked. There's not like a ton of 21-year-olds
Yeah,
right now.
the runner up
Kind of
was a
weird.
men. What do you?
Yeah, I'm in. How do you feel about that too? I think he's right where he should be as well. Like that's somebody else who I would be like, yeah, I would pay $200 million to. You know.
Yeah, dude, he's both of his brother as well. Like they're
Oh, for
kind of
sure,
like a
for sure.
prototypical like NBA player for now. Just super athletic, plays really good defense. If they can establish a 3-point shot, they're gonna be a problem, and they already are a problem. You know what I mean? Like
100%. I
on the
agree.
on the defensive side. So no, yeah, I think that's a good spot for him because he's doing really well. I like
Cool.
his game a lot.
Yeah, no, I think bro, it's the Dyson Daniels hype chain, right? Like let's get him in the All-Star game, huh?
Yeah, let's get him, bro.
You gonna vote for him or what?
I'll vote for him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I just we'll mess around. Like, sure, why
Yeah,
not?
why not, bro?
Hey, but this next player, bro, we don't really have to talk about it that much, but it's Wemby. At age 20, uh, I'm not gonna ask for your thoughts at length because we talk about him. You guys know. If you guys, even if you're younger, I feel like you know Wemby, man. So shout out our younger viewers. But this is another player where we don't really have to spend like a ton of time debating who's. I think Wemby probably out of all the players on this list might get taken first in a mock draft.
Yeah.
Just because of what he's going to be able to do in the future, and then obviously what he's doing already. It kind of goes to show you that we talked about this. A question that you had asked me, like is it like are players coming out too hyped or too crazily generational for like what they actually are? And I think Wemby was like the hype was assessed correctly, maybe even a little bit underhyped. God forbid I say that, but dude, he's yeah, it's kind of crazy to say that, but he's pretty much like outperforming. He's performing and outperforming like all the things that were set out for him to do.
Yeah.
One Rookie of the Year, he keeps improving. It's um Very scary
Is
because I
you
don't have
think
Wemby.
you think is he going to be put in the same category as like Luca? Whenever like 5 years from now, we're looking at Wemby and like, man, like, what more can he do?
Potentially, but I think also with Wemby, his scoring still isn't where it is going to be. I still think he'll average higher than 22, 25 a game.
Right,
I think he'll
right.
get to the 30-point mark. Um, but yeah, like you're saying, it's hard to when you peak at that level because like you're not getting 40, right? Like it's really hard to do that. So yeah, I mean it'll be interesting to have that conversation whenever we do get there. Um, I feel like Wembanyama's already in a tier by himself, low
Yeah,
key. I don't see any other player in the I mean besides Chet that can really replicate anything Wemby can do.
yeah, yeah,
That's why it's interesting to me to see Chet but below Paulo because I think Paolo's great, bro. I love Paolo, but I just what Chet's gonna be able to do from like a quadruple or like a triple double standpoint, it's like he can get 10 blocks, bro. So
right, 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 right.
but yeah, going on to this next player, bro. I wanted to talk about it a little bit with you too. It's VJ, bro. You know VJ Edgecombe
I
from
don't know who
Baylor.
that is actually.
Okay, bro. Yeah, so VJ is cold, man. Shout out VJ, but bro, yeah. So just typical prototype type of like player coming out of college, very big, strong, athletic. If you guys don't know, we're starting to get into the younger kind of generation of players, and we'll only go down to 18, so we'll only talk about flag anyway, because I feel like if you're a kid, you're a kid. But like once you
Yeah,
turn 18, obviously you're like you'll be a part of those conversations. But VJ's, bro, I think him like AJ and Cooper will probably be, him like when I say like maybe not generational, bro, but they're gonna make an impact from day one. VJ
okay.
is that type of player. I think him playing in Baylor's system really helps him as well because the way that they play, it's very fast. They shoot a lot of threes and they run tempo, bro. So they're out on the fast break, like they're breaking defenses down, kind of using that as their method of scoring as opposed to like set plays. So it's cool to kind of watch him because he kind of just gets to roam free and do whatever he wants to do, and just his size and athleticism, I think, is the reason why he made this list. I don't really think, I don't know all the 19-year-olds that are playing in college right now too, so I'm not really sure like I can't give you guys like a great analysis on why he's the player for this list, but I feel like it's partly hype too, like what me and CJ have been alluding to. Just the hype surrounding VJ and kind of like what he's gonna be turning into over the next few years. I think it's really big, bro, and I'm excited to see where he gets drafted and kind of what system ends up working out for him, because hopefully these players that are next up, they have long NBA careers, and more importantly, they just feel like they were able to contribute to the game of basketball, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But this next player, bro, it's gonna be Cooper Flag, bro. I mean, he's age 18. He's the last one. I did want to talk about the runner-up in this one too, because I think what is Dylan? Is it Dylan Harper?
Yeah.
And then AJ was runner-up for VJ, right?
No, runner up
Or
was
AJ was 17.
Reed Shepard.
Really interesting because Reed's in the NBA, bro.
Right. I was gonna ask you that actually. Like, what do you think about that?
So Reed don't play, so I can't really like me and CJ can't assess. Ime just doesn't play Reed,
Yeah.
so like I think I've seen Reed play once or twice this year. Like he's not one of the rookies that I think he's only averaging like 8 minutes a game.
Yeah.
So I can't really like give you guys a great assessment. I think he'll use for next year,
Okay. Fair
if that
enough.
makes sense. I think the Rockets are kind of like, I mean, honestly, from what I've seen, bro, he's a good shooter. He's streaky, so like he'll make like a couple threes, and then like for the next few games, he just goes ice
Right.
cold and doesn't play. So I feel like he's also a defensive liability as well. That's why he's not out on the court. And with Ime, you have to be able to play defense to play at all. But talking about Cooper Flag a little bit, obviously one of the generational talents that we have coming out of college. Him and Dylan Harper are pretty similar in terms of stats and actually like what they contribute on the basketball court. However, Cooper did have more hype, played with Team USA, obviously Gatorade National Player of the Year. Like he's kind of everything that you're looking for and kind of the next number one pick But I will say I think Dylan Harper's going to give him a run for his money, bro. I don't know if it's as black and white as people are making it out to be. And honestly, talking a little bit about AJ, like I was telling you, I think AJ like has more, in my opinion, than Cooper. But we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Cooper Flag's definitely the 18-year-old on this list, and all NBA scouts are looking at him as kind of the next one up. And coming from a place that plays a lot of hoops, you would think that he's gonna have a long career, bro. I think Cooper, from what I've seen on the couple Duke games that I've watched, he looks really good. He looks very assertive. He looks like he knows how to play the game of basketball. He has a high IQ, and he kind of just does whatever the Duke Blue Devils need at the time. So yeah, that wraps up the list, man. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It obviously is on ESPN Plus. We can't really link it unless you guys have the subscription already. That way you'd be able to open it. But like CJ was saying, definitely look into getting it. I think it comes with Disney Plus. So if you get Disney Plus, you get ESPN Plus as well, because they're doing like a bundle thing. So if you guys are like more into watching TV shows as opposed to news stuff, that's cool too. But yeah, it was a great little article that they had written. So I'm thankful that we were able to go through that.
Yeah, bro. Super dope. It kind of, I talked to you about it, when I was looking at it before we started recording, and kind of like makes me realize how old certain guys are,
Right.
Like, of course, like we know LeBron's 40, but you get to like the mid 20s, it's like, oh, dang, like I forgot he's only 23, 24, whatever it may be.
Yeah, or even like, I don't know why I thought Wemby was still 18.
Yeah, right.
Like things like that.
Right. But yeah, bro. Was there anything?
Oh yeah, but yeah. What bets you have today, man?
Oh yes. It's our betting segment. Shout out to Bet Outlier.
I don't know how many units we're up, but I think we're up pretty big.
Pretty big?
Yeah, because I've only lost 2, and I did all my straights. The only 2 or 3, I lost on Luka points because he got hurt, and then Jokic triple-double twice, but everything else we've had is hit.
Right, yeah. Facts.
And we've only done it twice.
Yeah.
Because Christmas and then the Wednesday before.
Right.
So this will be our 3rd week.
So I have a couple. I guess I'll just. Okay. So I have 3. I put for my first one. I did Trae Young over points and assists, 34.5.
Like that one.
Yeah, like
the total in that one. That game is also at 246. I love it.
Yeah, that's a good
high total.
One.
Yeah, like I love it.
And
that was what I was gonna say.
I was about to say, yeah, kind of like my thought process of why I picked that. Obviously, Trae Young has been going crazy this year, but they're also going against the Nuggets. So I feel like they have a problem guarding.
They can't guard anybody.
Right? Yeah, guarding anybody, but specifically guards as well.
Specifically guards, yeah.
Just kind of, I think he's going to be able to shoot the lights out and kind of spread the ball a lot. So I think that'll be a good game. Like you said,
over the last month, Trae's averaging. He's doing a lot better than when he was at the beginning of the year in terms of like field goal percentage.
Right, like scoring.
He's shooting a lot better.
Yeah,
he's been shooting a lot better, thankfully. A lot less too, though, which is good.
Right.
But less usually equals to higher percentage.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. And then one of my other ones was actually D'Angelo Russell points.
Really, you like D'Lo points?
Yeah, I like his 17.5. I think he's kind of being back in Brooklyn. It's his first game back. He's a little hesitant. But I don't know. I like D'Lo on the Nets.
Have juice.
I think he's gonna have that extra little flame in him right
now. He'll play 30 minutes too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And they're going against the Raptors as well, who have not been playing that well.
Damn, that was one I was not looking at. I might have to take you up on that for a unit, sir.
17.5, not too bad. And then my last one, it was a play that shout out Prize Picks, I guess. They gave me a free play today worth 25. And so far it's looking decent, but I have my NBA play for that one is actually Cat for 9.5 field goals made.
Okay.
I did over for that one.
I like that one.
Yeah, he's going against the Jazz.
I like that.
Think that's pretty easy for him. I feel like he's probably going to drop like 25 tonight,
I like Cat threes too. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking at Cat too much.
So those are my 3 plays.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, I think I'm going with Tyrese Maxey points against the Kings.
Okay.
In my opinion, I think it's 28.5 at minus 120 when I saw on Fliff. But in my opinion, like you just said about kind of like the Nuggets, the Kings are in a similar situation. Who can guard him?
Right.
Not Fox, not DeRozan. not Keon Ellis, you know. So
No.
I feel like if Embiid and Paul George don't go, this will get bumped as well because I don't know. Embiid might be questionable, but um, yeah, in my opinion, just Tyrese Maxey is kind of the focal point of their offense. Even when Embiid and Paul George are out there, you know, the ball definitely is in his hands the most outside of Embiid. And then obviously just his ability to be able to score from all three levels and really the free throws, I think, is something that I'm looking at as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just like his ability to get to the line, and maybe he's not the most efficient. He honestly hasn't been the most efficient this year, but for him to be able to score in bunches, you know, I think that's one that you know, I really like. And then obviously the other one, like I said earlier, the Trey points and assists. That's the other one I had.
Nice.
You kind of mentioned it. That was your first one, but the total being at 247 or something like that, it implies that there's going to be a lot of points. And me and CJ are all about points, and I know Trey is too. And he's also about those dimes. And I think the line for it was, let me make sure I give you guys the right numbers. The line for it currently right now at around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard is 36.5 at minus 120. That's, you know, pretty solid. I think me and CJ got it at like 34.5 against the Spurs, so it keeps rising. That's a good sign as well. It usually means the books have caught on. So
Mm-hmm.
I think he gets 37 points and assists, and he could, you know, Trey. I feel like Trey, this might be a 15 assist game from him. We'll
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
because there's a lot of points. There's a lot of total. Like that total's massive. So you know, it's implying that there's going to be a lot of points scored, and I would assume Trey's going to be doing a lot of the dime dropping.
Yep. Yep. I agree, sir.
Yeah, shout out Outlier for those, man. We'll have to put those on the screen too.
Right. Yes, sir. So we'll see you.
Yes, sir.
We'll definitely talk about it. Do you want to talk about it like the next time we record, or did you want
Yeah,
to?
we I think we could talk about it probably like yeah, we can do it the next time we record or on Wednesday too, like the recap and then
Recap
do
of
the
the
bets.
bet? Yeah. So we'll keep y'all updated. Those were our plays that we saw that were you know, we think are gonna cash.
You're
So
looking good, yeah, for sure.
so hopefully you know, y'all we'll be able to keep y'all up to date with all the plays that we have and kind of do our record for the rest of the season. But yeah, no, man, I think
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm good, man. If you're
yeah.
good,
Yeah, I think this was a great
yeah,
episode. If y'all liked and enjoyed this episode of Three Man Weave, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch y'all next time, man. Peace.
for sure. I'll stay up. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, man. Thunder up. Hook 'em. Shout out to the horns. We'll see y'all next time, man. Peace.
Peace.